Okay, good morning, class. For this semester, that is semester 8 for pharmaceutical chemistry 3, okay, I will take your theory subject as well as your practical subject. Okay, so before moving to the actual syllabus, as I have told you during the 7th semester also, if you have to go with for a proper study of any drug or regarding the study in medicinal chemistry, you have to understand some things, okay, some basic things, out of which the first thing is that you have to read the book which is related with the college. Okay, so you can read the pharmacology book, that is the Tripathi. It is must while studying this medicinal chemistry, or you can say pharmaceutical chemistry. Okay, if you go with this pharmacology book, you can understand the classification, the mechanism of action, pharmacokinetics of the given drugs or the given class of the drugs. Okay, so the next part, from moving this pharmacology, second part, that is the you have to go for the SAR studies of a drug. So for the SAR studies, you should thorough with the some basic groups or the groups which can increases the acidity, basicity, which are responsible to increase the hydrophilicity, basicity. Okay, bulky groups. If methyl group is attached, what happens? If OH group is attached, what happens? If high bulky group is there, what happens? Like this, you should know the information regarding the groups, they are hydrophilic or lipophilic, and if they are attaching, what will happen to the drug? For example, if you attach acidic groups, suppose COOH group, what happens is hydrophilicity increases, and if hydrophilicity increases, what happens? Drug shows the better solubility, but it cannot cross the CNS. Okay, so if the drug has to pass to central nervous system, you should attach another group which can increase the lipophilicity. Okay, आपण असं म्हणतो की drug should not highly hydrophilic or should not highly lipophilic. It must be a balance between the hydrophilic drug and the lipophilicity. So when the balance is maintained, there must be consist of the groups which are hydrophilic as well as the lipophilic. Okay, so which are the hydrophilic group? You should know which are the hydrophilic group, which are the lipophilic groups, what happens if bulky group is attached. That information you should know before studying this medicinal chemistry or any medicinal chemistry. You should know all these things. Then next part, the metabolism. Okay, so in the same six, you have studied the phase 1 and phase 2 metabolism. Okay, so what is phase 1 metabolism? What is phase 2 metabolism? You should know. Okay, and what happens? Which groups they are converted into the polar or hydrophilic group in phase 1? What happens in phase 2? You must know about all these things. Okay, so if a drug having the functional group like COH. So you can say it can go phase 2 metabolism, that is the glucuronide conjugation. Okay, if drug having a group like CH3, so you can say that it goes phase 1 metabolism, that is the CH3, it will convert it into COH. This is the phase 1 metabolism. So how phase 1 and phase 2 metabolism, how works? What are the different functional groups which are present in the structure? How they are responsible to show the different metabolism? You should know regarding these things. Okay, so the first part, that is you must read the pharmacology book, that is the Tripathi. It is must, so you can come to know the definitions, classifications, pharmacokinetic parts, the mechanism of action of given drug or the given class of drug. Second thing, you should know SAR. For SAR, some basic information you should know: which are the hydrophilic drug, which are the lipophilic drug, what is the effect of hydrophilic group on the drug. What is the effect of lipophilic group on a drug? If highly lipophilic, they can cross the blood-brain barrier. They can show their effect in the CNS. Okay. If drug is less lipophilic or hydrophilic, it cannot cross the CNS, so it will not show the effect in the CNS. So such information you should know. Okay, that is the second thing. Third thing, metabolism. Okay, so if drug having some groups, how it can undergo the metabolism, that part you should know. If drug having the acidic group, it can undergo phase 2. If having hydroxy group, it can undergo phase 2 metabolism, that is the conjugation. If drug having the CH3 group, it has to undergo the oxidation to form COH, so that is the phase 1 metabolism. So such part of the compound which are responsible to show these effects, you must know all these things. Okay, so for that you have to read the book, that is the Brahmankar, for phase 1 and phase 2 metabolism. What are the parts of the drugs, how it undergo the metabolism, what it will form. So that you should know. Understand? So before starting this, you should know all these things. Okay. Now we will move towards our same 8 part. So your same 8 part, it is divided into 4 parts. It is the CNS drug, ANS drug, analgesic, and drug affecting on male and female health. That is the steroids. Okay, so these are the 4 chapters that are present in your syllabus of pharmaceutical chemistry 3, or you can say the same syllabus of medicinal chemistry. Okay, so CNS, ANS, analgesic drugs, and drugs affecting male and female health. Understand? Now, out of which the first chapter, that is the CNS, or the drug acting on CNS, they are again classified, or this chapter is again classified into subunits. First one, sedative hypnotic drugs. Second one, anticonvulsant drugs. Third one, antidepressant. Then antipsychotic. Then anxiolytic, and then antiparkinsonian. So the disease which are related with the central nervous system, so the drugs which are useful for the treatment of these disease related to the central nervous system, they comes under this CNS drug. So that is sedative hypnotics, anticonvulsants, antidepressant, antipsychotic, anxiolytic, and anti-Parkinsonian. Okay, so such parts comes under the this one. It is under the part that is the CNS drug. Second one, on your second chapter, it is ANS, the drug acting on ANS, autonomous nervous system. So these drugs, there are two types, as you have already studied, that is the adrenergic drug and cholinergic drug. So the drugs acting on these adrenergic receptors, they comes under the adrenergic drugs, which are related with the cholinergic receptors, which comes under the cholinergic drugs. So it may be the agonist or antagonist. Okay, so the adrenergic agonist drug, adrenergic antagonist drug, which comes under this antinergic part. In cholinergic drugs, anticholinergic drugs, they comes under these cholinergic drugs. Okay, so that is the second part of your chapter, that is the ANS. Then next one, your third chapter is analgesic drug. Okay, so analgesic drugs, in that there are two parts, that is the opioids and NSAIDs. So the opioid analgesics and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which comes under this third chapter, that is the analgesic drug. And fourth one, the drugs affecting on male and female health system, that is the steroids. Okay, so again steroids, in that male sex hormones, female sex hormones. Okay, that is the testosterone, estrogen, adrenergic, then their antagonists, all these parts which comes under the this chapter, that is the drug affecting male and female health, that is the steroids. Okay, understood? So your whole PC3, it is divided into 4 chapters. First one, that is the CNS drugs, that is the drugs acting on central nervous system. Second chapter, that is the ANS drugs, that is the drugs acting on autonomous nervous system. Third one, analgesic drugs, that is the drugs acting as analgesia. In that, it may be the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or opioidal, generally opioidal, that is the obtained from opium, natural opiums or the synthetics. They comes under these opioids, NSAID, that is the non-steroidal, paracetamol, okay, baclofen. So such drugs which comes under this part. And your fourth chapter, that is the drugs affecting male and female health, that is the steroids. That is your fourth chapter, the steroids, that is the male sex hormones, female sex hormones, how they act in the body, the drugs which are analogy with the male sex hormones or female sex hormones, which comes under this part, that is the drugs affecting male and female health. So the first chapter for your syllabus is the drugs acting on central nervous system. Second one is drugs acting on autonomous nervous system. Okay, now the nervous system, they are classified into two types. As we know, they are classified into central nervous system. Okay, so the nervous system classified into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. And this peripheral nervous system is classified into autonomous nervous system and somatic nervous system. Okay, so in the central nervous system, they generally consist of brain and the related part and the spinal cord. Okay, the nervous system which are related with the brain and spinal cord, they comes under this central nervous system. Second one, that is the peripheral nervous system. It is the other part than the central nervous system. It comes under the peripheral nervous system. Okay, so in that, again, the peripheral nervous system, it is classified into ANS, that is the autonomous nervous system, and second one, somatic nervous system. So in autonomous nervous system, that means a name indicates autonomous or autonomic, that is the involuntary nervous system. Okay, and this somatic, it indicates the voluntary nervous system or the voluntary movements in our body. They are nothing but the due to the somatic nervous system. And the involuntary movements other than CNS, they comes under the ANS. Okay, so as we know that we are moving our hands. Okay, so when we want to move our hands, we can move our hands. That is the voluntary movement of our hands, skeletal muscles. Okay, so these voluntary movements, it comes under the somatic nervous system. आपल्याला वाटलं आपण बसावं, उठावं, जावं, चालावं. So all these movements, walking, sitting, running, writing, watching the TV, all these movements, these are the voluntary movements. If we want, we can go for these. Then such movements, they are called as somatic nervous system. Now, next part, tell me, our heart beats. Okay, that is the normal rhythm of heart beating, 72 per minute. Okay, so if we want, can we reduce the heartbeats 50, 40? No, it is not possible. Can we increase the heart rate by ourselves 90, 100? No, it is not possible. So the beating of heart, the the movement of cardiac muscle, their contraction, relaxation, it is not in our hands. We cannot control all these movements. So such movements, they comes under the autonomous nervous system, and such movements, they are called as involuntary movements. That means which are not in our control. Okay, smooth muscles, exocrine gland. So all these, the movements of all these, they comes under the involuntary movements. That is, their movement is not in our hand. We cannot do anything regarding this. We cannot say stop the heartbeats. स्टॉप म्हटलं तर हार्टबीट स्टॉप होणार आहे का, चालू म्हटलं तर चालू होणार आहे का. So it is their own mechanism, it is body's own mechanism, it is the involuntary mechanism, it is the involuntary movement. So such movements, they comes under the autonomous nervous system. Now you got the points. So our nervous system, it is classified into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. In central nervous system, it includes the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, so anxiety, depression, Parkinson. So the such disease, they comes under this central nervous system. Then second part of nervous system, it is the peripheral, which other than the central nervous system, the nervous system is called as the peripheral nervous system. So this peripheral nervous system, if it is involuntary, it is not in control of us, in our control. So uncontrolled movement, it comes under the ANS, and if the movement is under control, we can control that movement. So such movement, they comes under the somatic nervous system. Okay, the skeletal muscles. Okay, we can walk, we can talk, we can run, we can sit. All these movements, these are the voluntary movements, which are the somatic, due to the somatic nervous system. Beating of heart, and the cardiac muscle contraction, relaxation. Smooth muscle contract, smooth muscle, their contraction, relaxation, activity of smooth muscles, secretion of different hormones, exocrine gland. It is not in our movement, it is the involuntary. So they comes under the autonomous nervous system. Okay, so this is about the nervous system. Now we have already seen in drugs acting on CVS in last semester what we have seen. For the muscle to contract and relax, there must be the action potential present, or the action potential must be present. So due to the action potential, one cell can transfer the activity to the other cell, second from third, third to fourth, fourth to five, when it is possible, when there is action potential is present. Similarly, in case of nervous system, there must be presence of action potential to transfer nerve impulses from one cell to the another, and finally it goes to the brain. Now for example, hmm, for example, तुमच्या हाताला कापलं, बरोबर आहे, जे तुमच्या हाताला कट होतं त्यावेळी तुम्हाला पेन्स होतात किंवा तुम्हाला दुखतं. हे का दुखतं? Because the impulses of pain from the area of cut is transferred to the brain, and where you realize you have the pain, then you come to know that there is a cut. Understand? If we stop these impulses to transfer to the brain, what happens? The impulses will not reach the brain, and if they will not reach the brain, you will not realize that there is a cut to your area and there is a pain in that area. So this response, when they produces pain, is the response. When it produces the response, when the impulses are transferred to the brain, then only you can say that you have the cut. तुम्हाला कट झालं आणि तुमची रिस्पॉन्स ब्रेन पर्यंत गेलंच नाही तर तुम्हाला पेन होणार नाही. लक्षात आलं व्हॉट आय एम सेइंग? इन केस ऑफ एनास्थेशिया, इन केस ऑफ एनास्थेशिया, बरोबर आहे, मी एनास्थेशियाचं एक्झाम्पल देतो. एनास्थेशियामध्ये आपण काय करतो, नर्व इम्पल्सेस त्याचे हेल्ड करतो. ट्रान्सफर होऊन देत नाही एका नर्व पासून दुसऱ्या नर्व कडे, so that they will not reach to the brain. So when you are giving the anesthesia, you can go for the surgery. It may be the minor surgery or the major surgery. Okay. ते त्यांना किंवा त्या पेशंट हा अनकॉन्शियस असतो किंवा त्याला पेन आहे ते होत नाहीत. Why this is happening? Because the nerve impulses, they are not transferred from one cell to the another cell, to the second to the third, third to the fourth, fourth to the fifth, and finally to the brain, that is the central nervous system. Then you can feel there is a pain or anything, any going on at that part. Okay, so similar mechanism we have to adapt in the drugs acting on central nervous system. So before going to the mechanism of action of these drugs acting on central nervous system, first we will know how the nerve impulses they are transferred from one cell to the another cell. Okay, so the transmission of nerve impulses is very important. Okay, now you can observe this part. Outside there is a positive charge present, inside the neuron there is a negative charge is present. That means the potential difference between the positive and negative is there, and when the potential difference is more between outside the cell, that is the extracellular part, and the intracellular part, that case it is called as polarization state. Why polarization? Because they are having the different poles, that is the positive part and the negative part, and their potential difference is also more. So this is called as polarization state. At the polarization state, the nerve cell is in the resting state. Okay, so when polarized membrane is present, the neuron or nerve is in the resting state. लक्षात आलं? सो ज्यावेळी नर्व रेस्टिंग स्टेटला असतं, बाहेरच्या साईडला पॉझिटिव्ह चार्ज जास्त असतो, आतल्या साईडला निगेटिव्ह चार्ज जास्त असतो, दोघांच्या मध्ये पोटेन्शियल डिफरन्स असते. अँड ड्यू टू दॅट there is no transfer of nerve impulses from one cell to the another cell or one nerve to the another nerve. Now next step, what happens? Outside or extracellular part there is a positive charge species are present. So this positive charge sodium channel opens and sodium ion it moves inside the neuron from extracellular part, and when they move from extracellular part to the inside the part, what happens? Positive charge outside the cell decreases, negative charge outside the cell decreases, and if these two decreases, the potential difference between outside the cell or extracellular part and the intracellular part, this potential difference also decreases, and when this potential difference decreases, the condition moves to the depolarization state, as the positive charge and negative charge their difference is decreased. लक्षात आलं? And when cell is in the depolarization state, it can transfer impulse from one cell to the another cell or from one nerve to the another nerve. So when cell is in the polarized state, it is in the resting state. When the cell is in the depolarization state, it can have action potential, it can transfer a nerve impulses from one nerve to the another nerve or from one cell to the another cell. Understand? So when sodium channel inside, बाहेरचा पॉझिटिव्ह चार्ज कमी होतो, आतला निगेटिव्ह चार्ज कमी होतो. सो त्यांच्यामधलं पोटेन्शियल डिफरन्स कमी होतं. पोटेन्शियल डिफरन्स कमी झालं, सेल डिपोलरायझेशन स्टेटला जातो. डिपोलरायझेशन स्टेटला गेला तर न इम्पल्सेस हे ट्रान्सफर होऊ शकतात. सो पोलरायझेशन दॅट इज द रेस्टिंग स्टेट. ओके, सो पोलरायझेशन मध्ये काय होतं? पोटॅशियम लीक्स फ्रॉम न्यूरॉन, it determines the resting membrane potential. As I have told, outside the cell positive charge present, inside the cell negative charge present, so potential difference is more, so it is having the polarization, so the resting state. Depolarization मध्ये काय होतं, सोडियम आतमध्ये येतात. सोडियम जर सेल मध्ये आले तर पॉझिटिव्ह चार्ज बाहेरचा कमी येतो, आतला निगेटिव्ह चार्ज कमी होतो, दोघांच्या मधलं पोलरायझेशन कमी होतं, सो द डिपोलरायझेशन होतं. अँड ड्यू टू द डिपोलरायझेशन stimulation of nerve impulses takes place. Nerve impulses can transfer from one cell to the another cell. Again, what happens? Potassium is the intracellular ion. It is the positive charge species. Potassium काय करतात, आतून परत बाहेर मध्ये जातात. That is the potassium rushes out. सो बाहेरचा पॉझिटिव्ह चार्ज परत वाढतो, आतला निगेटिव्ह चार्ज परत वाढतो. इट प्रोड्युसेस द रिपोलरायझेशन. परत पोलरायझेशन स्टेट आहे ती तयार होते आणि रिपोलरायझेशनला परत रेस्टिंग स्टेट तयार होते. लक्षात आलं? सो इन दिस वे द ऍक्शन पोटेन्शियल and resting state works. It is purely depending upon the entry and exit of ions, the amount of positive charge ions outside the cell, negative charge ions inside the cell. Okay, why it is necessary to study this part? If we have to stop one process, one impulse, सपोज आपल्याला पेन स्टॉप करायचे, तर पेन स्टॉप करायचे असतील तर तुम्हाला काय करायला पाहिजे? Okay, now the first sub chapter you can say, or the sub unit of the first chapter, that is the drug acting on central nervous system, that is the sedative and hypnotics. Okay, so what is hypnotic drugs? So the hypnotic drugs which produces sleep that resembles a normal sleep. Okay, so hypnotic is a drug which are responsible to produce a sleep which looks like a normal sleep. So that is hypnotic. And what is sedative? It only the calm. It produces the calmness. It decreases the activity. It decreases the excitement. It decreases the anxiety. So sedative and hypnotics, these are the sedative and hypnotics, these are the two different parts. Sedative means which decreases the activity, excitement, anxiety, depression of CNS, but without producing the sleep. But the hypnotics, they produces all these things with drowsiness and sleep. And generally the hypnotics, they having the quick onset of action and short duration. Okay, so these are the drugs which are given to produce the sedative effect or the hypnotic effect. So barbiturates, phenobarbital, they comes under these barbiturates. Alcohol, they are also the CNS depressant. Alcohol actually, it is not a CNS stimulant, it is the CNS depressant. They produces the sedative hypnotic type of effect. They reduces anxiety, they produces the calmness. Okay, so it is not the CNS stimulant. Alcohol is the CNS depressant. Third one, benzodiazepine. Then drugs which are like benzodiazepam, that is zolpidem, zolpidem, zopiclone, so comes under this one. Then serotonin agonist buspirone, it also comes under the this one. But in our syllabus for this part, it is the drugs acting on sedative and hypnotics, only the benzodiazepines are there. Barbiturates are not there for the syllabus. In earlier when CBGS syllabus was there, so barbiturates was there in the syllabus. But in this, for your syllabus, CBCS part, this barbiturates are removed and only the benzodiazepine, they are present for your syllabus for this semester. Okay, in case of sedative hypnotics. They will comes in other CNS drugs, but for case of sedative and hypnotics, only the benzodiazepine drugs are present. Okay, so detail regarding these benzodiazepam, how it acts, what is the structure, what is this mechanism of action, that we will see in the tomorrow's lecture. Okay.